Welcome back.
Welcome to this latest episode of God Hates Charlotte.
So, a little caveat. I don't know if you guys see the LED lights in the background.
It's red.
It's red.
Why is it red?
Because for the Hurricanes, although, they took a L the other day, but I about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I said that I was going to make it red for the Canes, and I wasn't going to change it until the Hornets won another game.
Here we are.
That was the 4th.
It's the 18th.
It's the 18th.
Damn it, man.
Well, hopefully tomorrow you'll be able to change it to purple.
Can we?
The 28th when we play. We'll get to our predictions in a little bit.
I can't tell you mine
but
already.
It's gonna be red for a minute.
I got my predictions ready.
Welcome back to another episode of Under Construction.
Hey,
I'm Kaiser Sose. We got Rodney Rich Richardson, the world traveler. That's why we call him Richie Rich, because he be everywhere. Everywhere. Just came back from New Orleans.
What I wanted.
And then to my right, I got Jamal the Angry Black Fan.
What's happening, y'all?
Darby.
What's happening,
and
y'all?
Not so much anger this week, just sadness. As
depressed, despair.
It was like, all right, so I've experienced a lot in life and love. I've had my heart broken a few times, and I'm not sure if any of those times hurt as much as when I heard the news.
Oh my God.
I thought it was fake.
I did too. I was like, no, this is not right.
Yeah.
And I was searching into it and I'm like, no.
I
know.
Kind of like when you hear about like a celebrity dies, you're like, hold on, this gotta be fake. That's how I felt. Like this can't be real.
When I looked on Reddit and I looked on Twitter, I was like, wow, this is really happening, man. I had to pull my car over.
Yeah,
I was driving.
There's a few people probably like, what the hell are they talking about? But we're talking about the sudden impromptu retirement of Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly.
I'm still in denial.
Well,
man.
I'm going to give it up to him for a Hall of Fame career. I'm just
going
to give it up to him.
So there's a group that we're on Facebook. I think I'm gonna call them out. I think it was Sports Fanatics.
All right.
Where there was a debate: is Luke Kuechly a Hall of Famer?
What
and a lot
kind
of people
of
was like, no, I don't.
What?
I don't.
So let me get this straight. So you play 8 years. You were All Pro 7 of the 8. 7 of the 8 years.
First team
5 times.
5 times.
Pro Bowl 7 times.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Rookie of the year. You led the league in tackles during the whole time you were in the league. How are you not
in the Hall of Fame?
How?
Explain it, please.
So the argument that I hear a lot is, well, he didn't play long enough.
He's the best Panther of all time.
So we'll talk about that in a minute. But But a lot of people's argument is that Luke didn't play long enough. Which to that I say, so you take someone like Brian Urlacher, who was very Kuechly like, he played 13 years, but he had such a significant drop off at the end of his career that at that point it was just, we knew Brian Urlacher was going to be a Hall of Famer after 8 years, right?
Right.
That last 5 years of his career, did it really matter much? What is Luke Kuechly going to do in 5 years besides possibly win a Super Bowl that would cement his place in the Hall of Fame?
It's already been cemented.
Thank you. It's already been cemented. And y'all need to get used to this.
This is a new trend that's going to happen.
I agree.
8 year careers from star players is gonna be in. just
look at recently the kind of impactful players that's retired early.
Yes.
Calvin Johnson, Patrick Willis, Calvin Johnson, Rob Gronkowski,
even Chris Borland, who after winning Rookie of the Year retired.
Andrew Luck.
That's great.
And shout out to Barry Sanders, who retired early too.
Barry Sanders, he started it.
I think he retired for different reasons, honestly. But
but the difference is even when Sanders retired, 21 years ago.
Damn, that long.
1999, he was on the cover of Madden 99. Remember this? Remember the Shaky Booty commercial?
Yeah.
But the thing is players weren't making that kind of money. Now, someone brought up a good point on one of the Talking Head sports shows, but they said that I can't remember what team it was that was purchased for less than Luke Kuechly's guaranteed contract was.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like Luke Kuechly retired with enough money to buy a franchise. I mean, he could now, obviously, but that was the point. Yeah. He's got $70 million plus in the bank. I mean,
he looks kind of like he's kind of frugal.
And we knew.
And plus, he doesn't have like 5 kids. So he doesn't have to
smart guy. Wow.
I'm not foreshadowing, by the way. I'm just
smart guy.
Saying.
I didn't even take that one.
I didn't.
I thought about. I was like, you know who, man? What if he's next? And I thought, he got 6 kids. No, he ain't going nowhere.
He on that
plus, we saw. Remember, we talked about the drop off of Kuechly, and I think what it was he just couldn't throw himself around the field.
It showed itself, didn't it? Not to say that. Not to say we saw retirement coming, but it all makes sense now.
In my article I posted on January 9th about Matt Rule, I speculated about Luke's future because you're going to have to reset this thing. It's a reset at this point.
Oh, boy.
I don't agree with that, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's full-on reset yet, man, because what we're looking at now, Luke is obviously gone. Greg Olsen more than likely is out here, but we're talking about 2 players, man.
Kuechly, although he was a generational talent, was still a middle linebacker. Do you reset your entire franchise over a middle linebacker? Quarterback? Yes. Defensive end? Probably.
Especially us, because for some reason we have a good knack of always replacing our linebackers. That's true.
We had John Beeson before Kuechly. He was no slouch.
Before him it was Dan Morgan.
Yeah, so
I mean, Isaiah Simmons is out there, just throwing it out there. But I mean,
I think he's a lock for us to draft right now, man. But that's another story.
Honestly, man, like if you look at our defenders, especially our defensive line outside of Brian Burns, they're all 30 plus, man.
I could see a rebuild of one side of the ball.
Defense. It's going to have to be both sides.
Defense.
Man.
I don't think you necessarily.
The offensive line needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah, but just the line. But I mean, we've got McCaffrey, DJ Moore,
Curtis
and then
Samuel.
Curtis. I think
Ian Thomas.
The weapons are good. The O line sucks, and then that leads to the conversation about Cam versus whoever. You know, there's rumors. We'll talk about some of those rumors, but there are rumors, and if the question is, if the Panthers could get someone like Joe Burrow, then I don't think Tepper didn't buy this team to rebuild it.
I will hold firm to that belief, man. I will hold firm to that belief. Now,
I think Tepper's smart enough to know, okay, I didn't buy it because of this, but this is what we need to do. We might have to pivot.
I think that's true. I think Kuechly retiring was an unforeseen circumstance that may change things.
But reports in the locker room was that Tepper and Luke were talking for a long while after the game. So I'm thinking the Panthers, like top brass, maybe knew that he was heading toward retirement at the end of the year. And so they did a good job keeping it out there, keeping it from being put out there. But I think Tepper knew more than what we knew.
So basically, mainly fan talk. I haven't really seen this reported on any, major news outlets. But how do y'all feel about the notion that Luke Kuechly retired because he didn't want to go through a rebuild? Like, I find that to be nonsense.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do think that Ron Rivera leaving was a small factor. It wasn't one thing that led him. It was a lot of things, and most of them were centered around his health and the level at which he knew he could play the game. But the team was changing. I do think that there was some that probably had a little bit to do with his decision.
Right.
The culture behind the team is going to change. He's got to get used to a new defensive system with a new coach, a new coordinator. And
with that being said, does that make the decision seem a little hasty?
No.
I don't think so either.
Because he's looking at his health. You remember he had that thing on his neck he's playing with before?
Right.
He at a certain point, you have to look at your quality of life. You have to be like, okay, I may be losing something a little bit right now. Let me curtail this to kind of save myself. I've made enough money. Maybe it's time for me to go start a family. Maybe it's time for me to travel. Or maybe I could get into coaching. Right.
Now, let me be clear about something. I'm strictly was asking those questions just to play devil's advocate because I don't believe any of that personally. You could see it on his face. You could see it. He was holding back tears.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, I only know how to play at one speed.
Yeah.
I can't play at this speed anymore. So, again, just playing devil's advocate.
Any chance he does a Marshawn Lynch?
No.
Possibly.
No.
It's going to take at least 2 years.
So we see this a lot with y'all know I'm a huge boxing fan.
Yep.
We see this with boxers all the time. How many times Roy Jones Jr. retired?
About 8.
10 times.
And the thing is, he knows, and especially at this point, and by the way, Roy Jones Jr. just officially retired for the last time a few months ago.
Like 50 now, right?
And let's be clear, he didn't need money because he had HBO commentary money. So
he didn't need money. All he knew was how to box, and he knew that at that point in his career, it was a detriment to his health.
Right.
Roy his athleticism and speed was gone, so he was taking a lot of shots, and he was looking bad out there.
Right.
But he felt he could still do it. After he would take some time off. He'd come back in the ring against a no-hoper to gauge himself. We've seen it with boxing since the beginning of time.
Right.
What if Luke just says, I just need a break? And because 2 years from now, his head's going to be clear. He's probably going to be looking at the Panthers suck 2 years from now and be like, you know what?
I can help this team.
I can help this team. I mean, he's a competitor.
Which brings me back to my question. When I asked, was it a little hasty? Because you look at how this team has been struggling the last 2 or 3 seasons. You look at how relatively speaking, you look at how he struggled this season. It could just be a combination of like, you know what, I need a break from football.
Right.
But maybe that's just wishful thinking on Panthers fans and myself included, but it's a possibility. You never know.
Should he come back if he can't play?
No.
Like Luke.
No. I don't think I don't think so because
I think it's always in the back of his head. I don't want to get a concussion. And you look at him; he's not really a big guy.
No, you're right.
He's not really a big guy,
Right.
so he has to put a little more effort into those tackles.
That's a good point.
The Panthers have always drafted. I hate to use the term reckless, but guys who play like Luke Kuechly. Look at John Beeson.
Right.
Look at Dan Morgan. Who is the Kuechly prototype. Guys who just throw themselves around the field. Even Thomas Davis. And all those guys have the same thing in common. Injuries. I know injuries happen in the NFL, but look at
the rate of the
injuries.
Right.
Concussions. Dan Morgan retired for the same reason that Luke Kuechly did.
Right.
John Beeson tore his knees up like Thomas Davis did.
And how rare is that? How rare is that to have a franchise who's had 2 linebackers who play almost exactly the same way retire in almost the same
young
fashion?
cats don't remember how good Dan Morgan was.
Dan Morgan was
25 tackles in the Super Bowl. The guy was. He was. I'm not gonna say he was as good as Luke Kuechly, but the linebacker position was a little different then. But if you needed a guy that could hit the gaps and go sideline to sideline, he was your guy.
He was really good. And
Beeson was really good too.
Beeson was all pro middle linebacker.
Miami.
What if I could just see the Panthers drafting another Luke Kuechly? It won't be because of a rebuild though.
It'll be because we just
it's in our DNA.
We just have a knack.
So let's talk about the next step. Matt Rule just brought on LSU offensive coordinator Joe Brady,
30-year-old,
the youngest coordinator in the NFL.
He was from LSU.
Oh, okay.
You're a little salty. He structured that offense to beat the shit out of Clemson.
Hey, I gotta say, man, I think the guy looks like an offensive genius.
Yeah.
So the question is, one,
I have a hot take.
How much influence would he have on a rebuild? And 2, how would his offensive ideas translate from college to the NFL?
I think that he ran mostly a pro-style offense in LSU, so they'll translate pretty well. And he does have experience in the NFL locker room. Honestly, to be honest with you, if he's really good, he's not going to be here that long.
Thought about that.
Didn't think about that.
He's not going to be here that long. And so how much influence should he have on a rebuild if everything is going well?
Great point.
He gets
Great
poached.
point. Yeah.
He gets poached pretty soon.
I have a hot take.
Talk to me.
Rob Trubisky, number 2. I really see
That's
Chud in this guy,
thinking,
man.
yeah.
I see a lot of Chud in Joe Brady. The only question mark I have, and it's not really a big question mark, is the guy's 30 years old, man.
He's younger than Cam Newton.
He's younger than Cam Newton. He's younger than the quarterback. He's younger than almost all those guys, except for maybe 4 or 5 guys on offense, man. And the thing is, he preached a lot in the press conference about he doesn't think about his age. He thinks about his work ethic, what he brings to the table, and he wants to lead by example, which I believe is the correct approach, because you can't come in here
being the tough guy.
Yeah, you can't come in here being a tough guy. That's just not gonna work. That's just not how professional football works. I'm trying to relate to these players. So with that being said, man, he's got to prove his mettle, and I believe he can. Now, granted, the NFL, we talk about big boy football, but his pro style offense, I believe it can translate to this team. We have the weapons for it to translate to this team. He has the fortune of having a Christian McCaffrey on this team, which is going to help him in the type of offense that LSU ran throughout the season. So I like it, and I do see Rob Chizitsky number 2, but
let me ask you guys this. Are we seeing the Madden influence here? Meaning that we now have a generation of people who grew up playing video games and bringing those offensive ideals into sports. You really think Joe Brady doesn't play Madden?
No. I believe it's valid. I believe it's valid, man, because you have look. Sometimes things are so crazy that they actually may work. You get what I'm saying? These video games, this technology these days.
Who was that we saw a few years ago? The coach that ran, it was a set from Madden. It didn't work, but it was like a crazy Madden a few years ago had like this crazy running formation where it had three offensive linemen, and it was a direct snap to the running back.
I know you're talking about.
I can't remember who it was, but we've seen similar.
I mean, short answer, yes. But this shouldn't be done like that.
It's just that someone as young as him has young, fresh eyes when it comes to the way offenses should run in the NFL.
I think it's more the what's the Rams coach?
Sean
McVay effect,
right?
Than anything. Everybody's trying to get younger, that innovative mind, and want somebody who can grow within the job.
But that's what NFL offenses are usually. That's what is usually preached amongst offensive coordinators. Can you be innovative?
True.
It's the new wave these days because you see like with the Panthers in particular, our old way of running a Panthers offense, ground and pound, boom, play action. That's the Panthers' archaic way of running our offense until Rod Chizitsky got here.
Hey, the Titans do that.
The Titans do it. I mean,
teams do it because it works actually.
It works actually.
But it's also very dependent on personnel too. And
we don't have personnel.
And I was gonna say, think about it that way. Do you really want us to ground and pound with this offensive line that we have, and with a 150-pound running? I mean, I'm exaggerating, but
205.
Okay, we'll give him that. So
more like 190. He's a little man. I shook his hand. And I'm like, I'm like really bigger than you.
Them arms, dude.
The arms are big.
Arms big.
But the waist is tiny.
McCaffrey is an enigma physically because coming out of college, everyone says can't run between tackles, can't run, and look at him. He runs between tackles.
He's doing it.
Has some trouble on the 1 yard line though.
Good point.
A little bit of trouble there.
A little bit of trouble there.
We don't have enough push.
Both of those, or we miss blocks, or we don't run our 6'6", 250-pound quarterback.
With that being said, if we go back to how this offense looked when Rob Chizitsky was here, I feel like I'm mentioning his name too much, but you get
it's true. No,
But y'all get the point.
Look at Cam Newton's first 2 years in the league and what the Panthers were doing offensively.
4,000 yards.
It took the league by storm. Everybody wanted. Why do you think Harbaugh suddenly sat Alex Smith? In Colin Kaepernick just start. Alex Smith wasn't injured or anything.
Right,
I mean,
he did fine. He did
fine. But he brought Kaepernick in right at the end of the season, and look at what happened on that Super Bowl run because teams saw. Well, look at what Carolina's doing: triple options, RPOs, all kinds of stuff. Things that are no one really runs triple option in the NFL anymore, but RPO, that was us.
Yeah,
So
we started Wildcat too.
So I think that's a really good move by the Panthers and Matt Rule to bring him in, but that was a good point. He might not be here long if he's that good.
If he's that good. He's he's gonna have some looks of.
Would you replace Matt Rule with him if he's that good? Matt Rule?
Wow.
It would depend on that would depend if
hold on, time out. Did you forget how much money Matt Rule is making?
That's
the answer is no.
Small things.
What if I don't think this will actually happen. But what if the Panthers are just in complete disarray and a mess under Matt Rule? Everything just falls apart. Then do you say, okay, you know what? Let's give Brady a chance?
I would say that, but I would want more veteran presence in the locker room as far as a coordinator, like a Wade Phillips or something like that, to help balance everything out.
I would just go through the regular process of just interviewing who I think we would need to interview.
So you would interview like the 8 white guys and like the 1 token black guy and
so,
to satisfy the Rooney Rule. I didn't mean to put you in the spot. Let's go.
Real quick. I'm sorry, y'all. This has to be said.
It has to.
This has to be said. Eric Bieniemy clearly outcoached whoever this clown was last week. Eric Bieniemy should have a job by the time the NFL season starts next season. I'm just gonna keep it at that. I know we're a Charlotte sports podcast. I really had to get out of my chest, man.
It's not gonna happen.
Hey, I'm sorry. It was clear. I hate to sound like Stephen A. Smith. Clearly, this dude deserves to be a coach next season.
You know we have to go above and beyond. So he has to win the Super Bowl and they have to win by like 30 points for him to even get another interview.
Let's move on, man.
Last thing. What do you guys think about McCaffrey deciding to sit out the Pro Bowl?
Smart move.
No big deal. No big deal.
It doesn't matter.
There's no Panthers fans who's like, man, I couldn't wait to get to Hawaii to watch Christian McCaffrey in the Pro Bowl.
No. Orlando.
Oh, it's Orlando now?
Also, it's going to rain during the game.
It's going to be raining. It's going to rain 5 times in the game. And sunshine, rain, sunshine.
I'm happy to see him sit out the Pro Bowl. There's just no...
and we need to get ready for the holdout that's coming. Let's be real.
And we need to get rid of the Pro Bowl.
Do you really think a holdout?
I think it is. He wants to get his coins.
He should.
Well, actually, let me say it the right way. He needs to get his chickens.
Well, Hurney has shown a propensity towards paying running backs
a lot of money.
That's not a good thing all the time.
But in this case,
in this case, come on, bro. This is a different breed, man.
It depends on how we use him in the future.
I'll say that the Panthers don't have a history of players having holdouts. They're very generous at the negotiation table. Right. Sometimes to their detriment, as we saw with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart.
We got to pay Bradbury and we ain't got to worry about money anymore because Luke's off the books.
Yeah. Luke's off the books.
Well, he got this dead cat money, but other than that,
no, that actually helped. See, Luke always team first.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
He knew.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break. Word from our sponsor, Anchor.fm. We'll be right back with Charlotte Hornets Talk. 2-10.
Oh, man.
That is the record of the Charlotte Hornets dating back the past month. The last win was the 17th of December against Sacramento at home, in which Monk was the leading scorer with 23 points.
We don't won at home in a month.
Have not won at home in a month.
Bad for business.
That was the last home win. The last win was against Dallas on the 4th. Before that, Cleveland 2 nights prior. We lost to Indiana, Toronto, Utah, Phoenix, Portland, and Denver the past week. Phoenix, Portland, and Denver on our West Coast road trip, which comes to an end tomorrow, or has already come to an end. And then tomorrow we play at home versus the Orlando Magic.
MLK Day.
Tickets as low as $8, by the way.
And what time is it? 2 o'clock tip?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Yep.
Well, according to some people, this is going according to plan. Mm-hmm. It's January.
We know what this team does in January.
It's January. We're going on our ceremonious road trip and
our annual 10-game losing streak,
and get our face kicked in. But this could be for our benefit in the future. I mean, you got to be positive. All I'm looking for in these games is positive play from the young folks. By far, Dwayne Bacon did that, and then he disappeared.
We were saying before the show, you know how the Hornets always have every game, there's one guy on the other team nobody's ever heard of that just torches us.
PJ Dozier.
Yeah. Dwayne Bacon is that guy for us.
Yeah.
He just randomly will show up.
I'm sure some other fan base is like, man, who the hell is Dwayne Bacon, man?
Dwayne, who?
God.
Yeah, Dwayne Bacon had 24 points in a loss to Phoenix, a tough loss, a game that we really should have won.
Yeah.
We held Devin Booker to 12 points.
You stole him up thunder.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Phoenix game.
Yeah, y'all know how on certain teams, and there's a lot of them, there's Hornets killers.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Oubre is turning into a Hornets killer.
Washington
25 points, 10 for 19 for Kelly Oubre, 15 rebounds.
Actually, I wanted to trade for him last year because Washington gave him away for free.
They sure did. They sure did.
They gave him away. He's, 21, 22 years old and balling out like this? He would look better than Miles.
So the positive thing about the Suns game is that at least there wasn't a random no-name guy that killed us this game. It was basically Kelly Oubre killing us this game.
Somehow, though, this is a consistent thing with the Hornets. Mm-hmm. The Hornets are always competitive in games.
Right.
They shouldn't have been competitive in this game. Phoenix shot 50% to our 41%. They shot a third from the three-point line, while Charlotte shot 21%. They out-rebounded us by 10. But we only lost by 8, and the game was much closer than that at one point in the fourth quarter. So,
and we did all that with Terry Rozier really struggling.
Yes, this was not a good game for Terry. Yep. But because he's tired from backpacking the team for the last month.
I mean, it's true. And we talked about this off camera. The question was, have we kind of tailed off on calling Devontae Graham the best player on the team now? And
it's been evident for about a month now.
It changes, right?
Hey, Graham turned it around against Portland, though. Had a really good game.
Yeah.
Scoring 27 points in that game. But
we look like baby DJ and Saint and Dame in the backcourt.
Yeah, pretty. That's.
But everybody else sucked.
I like that comparison. I think a lot of teams now are okay. So the secret's out about Devontae Graham. So if you look at how teams are defending him, they're throwing doubles at him, going over the screens. Mm-hmm. They're doing all these kinds of things,
making him drive to the basket.
And he can't adjust. It's only his second year. He'll figure that out. But for right now, he can't. He has to acquiesce to his teammates, and Terry Rozier is taking advantage of that because teams have to kind of play off him in order to contain Graham.
So I want to talk about this Portland game. Let me be very clear about this again, because I said the same thing last week, but let me be very clear about this again. I do not believe James Borrego is a bad coach. I'm not a person who bashes James Borrego a lot. However, with that being said, in this damn Portland game, James Borrego deserves to be criticized with this Portland game.
Tell us why.
Something called Anthony Tolliver scores.
Former Charlotte
Bobcat, who actually, gave us a couple of decent seasons. Let's be clear about that. However, Anthony Tolliver has 16 and 11 in 21 minutes of action.
It's crazy.
Mainly did his damage all in the fourth quarter. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he scored 16 points in the fourth quarter.
He shot 88% from the field.
Y'all listen, man. Not Carmelo Anthony, not Dame Lillard, not Dame Lillard, not CJ McCollum. Anthony Tolliver was a thorn in our ass in the fourth quarter.
That's piss poor.
Here's why. I have no idea why. Remember when I told y'all last week, James Borrego sometimes likes to throw crap at the wall, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. Here was a golden opportunity for him to do that. Here's what I mean. Why don't you just go small? Why don't you have a combination of PJ and Marvin, PJ and Miles, something to that effect? So that way you have a smaller guy guarding Anthony Tolliver, who is playing center at this point. No, you keep Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo on a 6'8" hybrid forward. That's not where they're supposed to be. And this is the result.
And another issue of mine in that game, Miles Bridges disappeared.
Which he tends to do a lot.
2 points. And
but he only played 18 minutes, though.
You got to yank him quick. He was off.
Which he tends to do.
But see, my issue with him, long term, with Miles, he doesn't get to the free throw line. He's insanely athletic, can drive the ball. It's like he ducks contact.
Pretty good size.
It's mind boggling to me.
The free throw line is an iffy thing in the NBA, though. It really is. We've seen players that have trouble, because I think actually the Hornets as a whole have trouble getting to the free throw line.
True.
But you look at like when Kimba was here, he could get to the free throw line with some regularity. No one else on the team really does.
I think Miles has issues with the refs. I really do. I think he has issues with what he feels are not fair calls when he goes to the basket.
You got to get over it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you.
Keep attacking. You got to keep attacking to get over it. Eventually, it'll go your way.
And it's a mental thing.
And then, like, it doesn't help when you try to show up a ref. He's gotten a few texts this year.
Yeah.
Having said that, Willie Hernangomez, only in 16 minutes, put up 14 points with 7 of 8 from the field.
How many points did this man that he guarding have?
All of them, probably.
Was he guarding taller?
So
yeah, it was at one point.
I mean, Biombo didn't play that game, by the way.
Good.
Should we just be all in on Willie? No, okay, we saw this with Frank last season. Remember how Frank didn't play because Borrego hated him or something, and then he started playing Frank, and Frank's balling out. Okay, we're seeing this again with Willie.
I'm gonna make this easy. Yes, and I'm gonna give you the main reason why. Because what Bismack gives us as far as rebounding and rim protection is not enough. You get what I'm saying? It's not enough to move the needle where you say he's just that much better than Willie.
Offensively, we're not efficient and good enough to play 4-on-5 out there a lot. Like we do, we win business on the floor. And Willie can't play defense, but like you said last week, the whole damn team can't
Nobody can play
defense.
And so you just, I would just go and try and outscore the other team. And just set those habits for next year.
The previous game, Phoenix shot 50%.
That's what I'm saying.
In this game, Portland shot 50%. So we can't guard nobody.
We can't guard anybody either way.
So we might as well, just
go be like Phoenix was back in the day. Just try to score.
Does that mean we need to start Malik Monk?
Who, boy?
Over who? See, this is my thing. Who is Malik definitively better?
Okay, let me not. I won't say start.
Play him
should
more.
he get more minutes?
He should.
It's a tough question. I can't answer that, and here's why. So lately, Malik Monk didn't even play the last game, right? Mm-hmm. And we're looking at his minutes decrease. And I'll be honest with y'all, I don't really understand why that's the case. There's something going on.
So Borrego made a statement recently about, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the quote in front of me, but essentially saying that Malik Monk
has to work.
He has to put in the work to earn his minutes.
I mean, this is the third year we've heard this.
It wasn't just Borrego saying this, y'all.
And then
Steve Clifford was saying the same thing. There's something coaches value practice. Right. They value
preparation.
They value that. They really, really do. That's why I hate to say this, but that's why Nick Batum is getting minutes, because he's putting in the work. Now, it doesn't translate to the game, but how else is a coach supposed to evaluate? Because, see, practice is a controlled environment. Mm-hmm. The game is not. Game conditions change from game to game.
Hey, guys, I have some intel.
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
So here's a little nugget here. Going back to the Malik Monk situation as far as practice and preparation, I talked to someone who's close to the organization over the weekend who said that a lot of younger guys, actually look up to Malik. Yeah.
That's bad.
That's so what better example to set to say, you know what, if you're not preparing this way in practice, this is your result. You're going to sit down.
I could see that, because if you guys have ever seen Malik Monk in social media, he's like a cool guy. He's on Instagram, flossing. You know what I'm saying? I could see why young guys would look up to him. He's a cool guy. He's a bit of a joker. He had a real good relationship with Dwight Howard when he was here. Yeah. So I could see him being highly, highly likable. But to me, that's all the more reason to hold him accountable.
More accountable,
because you don't want to end up like the Knicks. Or so, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You don't listen. I think if it was me, if I'm James Borrego, my worst fear from Malik Monk is to end up as J.R. Smith 2.0.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I say that because you look at guys like that who have all the natural God-given ability and the talent, and you just wonder why you can't get more out of them. You get what I'm saying?
Can't put it all together at one time.
Right.
We'll come back to Malik Monk in a second, but we got one more game to talk about, the Denver game.
Oh man, the game where you should have drafted me, Charlotte.
Yeah. Hey guys, I told you should have drafted me. At least in the first quarter.
Yeah, I will say that they kind of put an end to Michael Porter Jr.'s outburst at the because he started off
really
on fire,
like
and then
5 for 6 and 1.
he cooled off after that. Finished the game with 19 points. Terry Rozier led us again, 20 points. Miles Bridges led the team in rebounds. Rozier had 9 assists, and this is another thing. The narrative was that, well, Rozier is not as good of a point guard as Devontae Graham.
He's a shooting.
He's a better scorer, but he's been dishing the ball out a lot lately. I've seen him make some good passes and find open teammates.
Because he's adjusting to how they're guarding him now.
Right. The idea that he's not a natural point guard was ridiculous to me because he played backup point guard in Boston for the past 4 years. He started in the playoffs as a point guard. Granted, he may be more of a scoring point guard, but the guy can play the point. Just because he was acquiescing to Devontae or that doesn't mean anything to anyone as long as the job.
I would say this: Devontae is a more natural point guard than him, but that doesn't mean that Terry doesn't have the ability to run the point shot.
Right.
One thing that sticks out to me, a couple of things that stick out to me in this game. Nick Batum, 0 for 4, 0 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists.
Knicks, just score, man.
God, can you
get an open layup or something?
To put the ball
I have seen
in the basket, please.
I have seen Nick Batum pass up.
Why? He passed up an open 3 in that game, and I was just like, I'm turning the TV off.
I've seen him drive
to turnover
because in today's NBA, you can get to the basket
pretty easily,
a lot easier than you could back in the day. And I've seen him drive, and I'm like, oh, this is, and then he's just like kick it out to some Biyombo, and Biyombo fumbles the shit away or something like that. So Nick.
Look, man, I am not trying to typecast in any way, but it's just ironic that we had another French guy here where the coach would just implore him to please be more aggressive. We need points, man.
So it's interesting you bring that up because what happened when that player left and went to play for the greatest coach in NBA history? Yeah,
he won a championship. Balled out. Look, I honestly believe if Popovich sticks around, the Spurs are going to bounce back. Nick's going to be like this 6 men off the bench, averaging like 12 a game.
A few years ago when there was talks to trade Nick to the Spurs, I was like,
please,
he'll go there and win a chip easy.
Help both everybody involved would benefit from that.
So what could JB do to let's talk about JB just for a minute.
Yeah.
What could JB do to get the most out of these guys who seemingly don't care? Nick, Monk. What does he got to do? Because the reward punishment system is not working.
Right.
I mean, with Monk, kind of, I like him on the floor with Graham, so Graham can run the show, and I would like him on the floor with Nick, so Nick could be the secondary ball handler. Kind of stagger those minutes to get the best people around him, so maybe you can showcase him and trade him. You got to look at it like that.
Here's a hard reality that I think we as fans need to face because we don't have a lot of intel. We're not in the practice every day. But here's what every athlete kind of desires. In this modern day and age, you have to coddle these players, man. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if every coach is willing to do that. Let's be clear about that. But
also look where Borrego comes from. Pop didn't coddle.
Right.
Anybody.
Right. So. But the reality is sometimes you can reach these players by coddling them. That's just reality. It doesn't sound right.
Come here, Malik.
No. But listen. You have to understand, Nick Batum was a starter on this team less than 2 seasons ago, okay? Mm-hmm. You have to understand, Malik Monk was all-world at Kentucky, and he's heralded, and everybody wanted him and all the stuff. So at this point, if you're not going to give them what they want, and I'm not saying they should, let them go, man, because otherwise nothing else is working.
I think Borrego likes Malik Monk, and wants him to do well and kind of wants to hold on. Think about this. When it's crunch time, if the Hornets are down by 2 points and need a 3 to win, who's in the game?
Malik Monk.
Malik Monk's in the game.
Who's proven that he can deliver.
Do it. Yeah. If you don't like a player, you don't have
him in that game.
Kind of
right, yeah.
Right.
You don't have that kind of trust in him. I think Borrego, he recognizes Monk's ability, as we all do.
He just wants him to put it together.
Exactly. He needs him to show that in all situations.
You know what I want to see this week? Hopefully we'll get it, because it seems like we don't see this a lot. Is it just me, or does it seem like we don't see Bacon and Monk on the floor together a lot?
They're kind of the same player, though, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, but sometimes things are so crazy that they actually may work. So let me put this another way. You want to see Batum and Monk on the floor together?
Nope.
Is Batum and Bacon on the floor together working?
Nope.
Time to throw some crap at the wall, y'all.
But you know what's gonna happen?
What's that?
Fans gonna complain about, man, JB ain't got no set rotations, man, which is a constant complaint of fans with Jace Borrego.
I don't think Jesus would have a set rotation with this roster.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of separation.
There is no set roster with this roster. This is not.
Yes, not a lot.
There's
of
no set
separation.
rotation, man. There is not.
There's a trade rumor going around about Malik Monk, saying the Hornets are shopping him actively. Mm-hmm. One of our sources says that is not true. Mm-hmm. We think the truth might be somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Speak on that.
I believe that at this point, Monk would be a throw-in to kind of sweeten up a potential deal with like a Batum or a Zeller.
You know what happens with throw-ins sometimes. Remember Shannon Brown? He was a throw-in on the trade.
You see his hairline recently?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
But he might be a throw-in at this point to kind of sweeten up a deal. I mean, to be honest with you, I want your honest opinion. Has the experiment in Charlotte failed or worked with Malik Monk?
It hasn't worked yet.
I mean,
failure is a bit strong.
Yeah.
I
mean, look at it like this.
He's 21 years old, man.
He's 22.
Still.
My only thing with Malik Monk is that we're not seeing any progression. We're seeing very slight statistical progression, but just from watching him play, unlike, okay, take a guy like, I hate to compare him to Kemba Walker, but I'm going to compare him to Kemba Walker. Oof. Look at every year we saw Kemba get better, not just statistically, but we would see him
on floor performance. Right.
We would see him do things like, whoa, he wasn't doing that last year.
Right.
We're not seeing that from Malik Monk. I'm not seeing.
Not consistently.
I'm not seeing. Whoa, he wasn't doing that last year. Defensively, he's gotten a little better, but we still see judgment. Still judgment lapses. But hey, he's not going to be a big defender. So it's like, what is he working on in the offseason? When I look at other experiments and shit, like let's talk about Frank Kaminsky for a minute. Okay, Frank tried. I'll give him that at least. We saw. Hey, Steve Clifford wanted him to
be great,
be a stretch four and play 20 feet from the basket. Okay, so Frank went in the gym and started working on his handles and doing all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And then Coach Clifford got fired. Go figure. But but what are we seeing from? What is Malik Monk working on? What is he working on?
Apparently, his body.
Well,
I mean, look, man, that's only gonna get you but so far in this league, man.
For instance, Steph Curry, KD, and Klay Thompson. Before practice, shoot 100 threes. Mm-hmm. They all take turns and shoot 100 threes. Why isn't Malik Monk doing stuff like that? He's not a great 3-point shooter, right? So that's one of his weaknesses. Shouldn't he be trying to shore that up? Now, guys, I'm not Hornets practice. I don't know if he's doing that, but
and that goes back to the intel thing, man. That just leads me to believe. Look, JB sees this dude every day. We don't. The outside doesn't. JB sees the preparation, and I think this ultimately what it comes down to. JB probably just does not believe Malik Monk is preparing for every game or approaching the NBA like he should.
I still think he should have played in Summer League.
I'm saying
he didn't want to play.
I know he didn't want to, but
he should have played.
He should have played. This is your job.
It should have been up for debate.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's where they're also butting heads. Malik Monk believes, hey, I'm this good. JB was like, nah, man, you're not this good yet. You could be, but you're not yet. Hey, man, I deserve to be coddled and given more minutes because, I've put in the work. No, man, you haven't put in the work yet. I just think that's where
to me,
man.
Yeah, Graham is proof is in the pudding. He put in the work.
He went to the G League.
He went did his time in the G League. Look at
Bacon too.
Yep. That's why they were Graham didn't start, but that's why Bacon started. And then when Bacon went out, remember we all thought Malik Monk would start in place of Bacon, and
Still
then
didn't happen.
Nope, Devontae Graham. And now look, Devontae Graham is teams are double teaming Devontae Graham.
But
so
and not to take the focus off Monk, but just for a minute. But look at Dwayne Bacon's season. He fell out of grace for a little while. Mm-hmm. He's back now because he worked himself. He seemingly worked himself back. I think JB's looking for the same thing in Malik Monk, and we just haven't seen it yet.
Give JB a grade so far this season, halfway through. B minus. That's my grade. C plus. So about the same. I feel like there's only so much this guy can do with this roster. I put it like this: anyone who says they thought the Hornets would have 15 wins, despite going 2-10 the whole damn season, yes.
Right.
So he's taking.
He might end up with like 25.
He's taking a bad roster with a few good pieces. And they're competitive almost every game, except for when they play the most elite of the elite teams.
Which is expected.
I'm good with that. And that makes me think that once next season rolls around, PJ Washington makes the ascension, which I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
Graham's only going to get better. You have Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
I think the Hornets are in a good place, and then we can really see how good of a coach Borrego is.
You got LaMelo handing the ball off like this, like magic.
So that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Trade.
35%.
All right, so the Hornets play 5 games between the time now and when you will see our lovely faces again.
Really? 5?
6. No, 5.
Oh.
5. No, 5. They play Orlando at home, Milwaukee at home. That game's on NBA TV, by the way. They play the Knicks at home. They play in Washington, in San Antonio. That game is on Saturday. That's a Saturday night game.
And you know that meme where SpongeBob was like, I'm like, whoa.
1-4.
I think we get the Knicks.
That's it. The Wizards are,
and that's only because we're at home.
Juggernaut.
I say 2 and 3. I'm gonna be optimistic.
I think we could get Orlando.
I think we get Orlando and the Knicks.
If we get Orlando, we'll be 3-1. It was the 4-1. 3-1?
No, they play 5 games.
If we get Orlando, we'll be 3-2. We'll be 3-2. But as of right now, it's 1-4.
I say 2 and 3. I think Milwaukee slaughters us in Paris.
Oh, Milwaukee's going to embarrass the heck
That's going to be,
us.
I hate the fact that the NBA set us up to be like the Giannis's whipping boy. For
yeah.
Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah. Oh, man, it would be so sweet if we somehow, if Nick Batum hits a game-winning 3.
That'd be awesome, but
the French French carry him off court and we never see him again. That's what we're hoping.
Hopefully he sticks around. I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Tony Parker didn't stick around for that. He was like, you know what?
I'm out of here.
I'm good.
Tony Parker's like, y'all made me miss the playoffs for the first time in my career.
Yeah.
I'm
done.
Screw you guys.
We're out too for a commercial break. We'll be right back with Culture Talk. Word from our sponsor, Anchor.fm. And we are back. By the way, slight correction. We said the Hornets play 5 games before you see us again. They only play 2, actually. We didn't account for the holiday. And the holiday and the Hornets having to travel to Paris, France. So we play Orlando and then Milwaukee in France. So
1-1. Hopefully. I don't feel good about that, but 1-1.
2-0. All right. So who did take a L this weekend was we were just talking about we're just gonna have to make a separate podcast about this guy. The hottest rapper in the game, Dababy.
Welcome to Under Construction, the baby edition.
The
baby segment.
So Dababy is in trouble again with the law. Wow. Shocker. This time for assaulting a hotel employee at a hotel in Beverly Hills.
Can't take y'all nowhere.
According, now the original report says that the hotel worker went outside to get a picture with Dababy, and Dababy turned him down, and then an altercation occurred, and they slammed the guy against the wall, and Baby and his goons roughed him up. There's a video on this too.
It wasn't really a rough up.
No, it was
a stern talking to.
Yeah,
I've seen worse.
He got dudes. I mean, he grabbed him.
I went to West Charlotte. I've seen worse.
He grabbed him. Dababy says the guy was actually attempting to film him outside the hotel while he was holding his daughter, and he asked him to stop. So the employee refused, kept filming anyway. He asked the dude to delete the video, and then he roughed the dude up to get him to delete the video. So,
how do I feel? I feel that the dude deserved to get roughed up because I told you not to record me, and I'm holding my daughter, and I'm concerned about the safety of my daughter because I'm a visible figure in LA, and they do rob you in LA. They do rob you in LA. I don't need nobody to know where I'm staying. You don't have to drop on me.
I agree.
The video though, the baby's not holding his daughter at that point. They clearly follow the guy back into the hotel to mess him up. I mean, I know, Grant, that's some West Charlotte shit right there. But still, this wasn't egregious enough to be like super gangster.
I agree.
We get it, dude.
I agree, man.
We get it. You're the baby. You beat up Cam Coldheart.
Yeah.
In South Park Mall of all places.
Classic stuff.
You shot
I'm the truth.
Yeah. You blasting on a dude. You rap about it. We get it.
Right.
But this, if you're not ready to handle this, because this is going to be the least of your concerns when you are the hottest dude in the game right now.
Right.
You just can't go around just beating up everybody.
It's just not reality, man.
Let me tell you something. You're not going to beat up everybody. Eventually, you're going to lose the fight, and you have too much to lose on your reputation to lose.
Absolutely.
The fight. You need to let your big old security handle everything for you.
Regardless of what we think about the baby or what anyone thinks about the baby, what we don't want to happen is him to be added to the list of dead rappers,
right?
Who really sometimes
it's kind of
we bring it on ourselves. We look at Tupac. I'm not saying the baby is
Tupac and Biggie.
Yes. We look at what happened to Tupac
in hip hop.
Tupac was trying to maintain that thug life image, and it got him killed. So, I mean, you're not in Charlotte no more. You can't go to LA and start roughing cats up. You just can't.
Man, you don't know who affiliated with who out there. Yeah, it's a different culture.
Look, y'all. So none of us are famous yet. Like I did that. So we don't know. We don't know what it means to be.
I'm pretty low.
Like famous.
Right. Absolutely.
So these celebrities, they deal with, for lack of a better term, normal people who feel like they are entitled to these celebrities' personal space, to their. They feel like they should beckon at their every call. Why? What do you mean I'm not going to get a picture with you? What do you mean I don't get an autograph? And you have a lot of overzealous fans who are going to invite themselves to the privacy of these celebrities. That's just going to be the reality. You're not going to stop that if you're the baby. But if you're the baby, you need to learn how to navigate through this stuff, man.
True.
You get what I'm saying? And going up and beating up somebody and punching everybody in the face. Right. It's not going to be the right.
Ain't you got your goons with you? That's their job.
That's their job. Let somebody else take whatever comes with that.
Or you know how people say you got to check in certain places. That's why you build relationships in certain places. So you have goons everywhere to handle stuff for you.
Right? Yeah. You make a call to LA, and I'm gonna be out in LA.
Hey YG,
right.
And YG accommodate you because he'll expect the same accommodations when he comes to North Carolina or Charlotte.
And see, now what's gonna happen is you're gonna get sued. Because if I'm this dude, I'm gonna sue the baby guy. How about they cut you a check for $1 million? You know what I'm saying? Right. He said it in the song, so I'm trying to get some of that. I'm gonna be like, hey man,
you rapped about it.
Yeah,
you said $25,000 for that push.
Yeah, the baby pushed me down.
$25 for emotional distress.
I almost broke my back. You know what I'm saying?
I broke my back.
I peed on myself.
Trying to come up in the game. Now you got to settle out of court. So we're just saying, man, we love that you represent Charlotte, but
you got to be smarter.
This ain't it. This ain't it, Chief.
You got to learn how to navigate through your fame, because
please, man. Look. I want you to continue to thrive because when you thrive, Charlotte thrives, and other Charlotte artists can get put on.
That's it, bro.
Also, this is the third time in a year Dababy has attacked fans. People,
good look, man.
that is. It'd be different if we're just talking paparazzi or whatever.
Right.
But you're talking about a fan beat up a fan outside a mall in Charlotte.
That was a stalker.
I guess.
Fine line.
Beat up
Good point.
a fan outside a show in
Stan?
in St. Louis.
Right.
In St.
Last year,
Louis,
so.
St. Louis, you don't need to be beating up people.
Yeah, don't beat up nobody in St. Louis.
Yeah, let's not mess around too much.
Look, let me tell you
We don't want to give them cats a reason to make more music again.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Look, let me tell you something.
St. Louis, you had to run, man. We don't need any more. Please.
We're good. Don't make a diss record,
Let me tell you
please.
something. St. Louis, look, you might think it's sweet, but them cats are some killers in St. Louis.
You are hilarious, sir.
Also,
He beat up a fan and him and his security beat up a fan in Massachusetts. We don't need any more of that either. We don't need any.
I mean, if you're gonna be nice to anyone, be nice to your fans at the very least. Like what if I want a picture? He can be like, "You that cat that was talking junk under construction."
I don't want no picture of nobody.
You know, it's what, man. Some celebrities don't realize that they have to live in a bubble, man. Like he's there now. You know what I'm saying? He's there. He ain't walking around Charlotte in a diaper no more. This big time stuff, man. You are officially
you got
real celebrity.
It's great. Look at the greats.
Mm-hmm.
How many times you heard about Jay-Z beating up a fan? And Jay-Z done some crazy, he stabbed a dude for bootlegging his joint, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z a real one.
Right.
But even he knew where the line was drawn.
Man, real quick about Jay-Z. So, you remember those homecoming shows that used to just throw everybody together? Like, it'd be like Jay-Z and like Jagged Edge and like just all kind of crap, right?
Trick Daddy.
So he actually did a homecoming show in Winston-Salem State long time ago. It was before he got super famous. And there was a local that was following Jay-Z around the club all night. Jay-Z was like, "Yo, man, chill, please. Chill." Dude didn't listen.
They just want to be
just following, like he kept following around. Beanie Siegel was going after this dude. Jay-Z's like, "This is not what you want, man. I'm trying to tell you this, like, chill." Beanie Siegel's he's fresh. He ain't even really got a deal yet. You know what I'm saying? He's still goon status.
Right.
Jay-Z's like, "This ain't what you want, dude. Chill out." Dude still following the crew around. Jay-Z just mushed the dude in the face like, "Hey, man, I try to tell you, man. Like, you got to go." That's the kind of stuff you got to deal with, man. You know what I mean? And, Jay-Z at least didn't stab that dude or worse.
Yeah, you got to look at what the people that came before you did.
Look, man, I said it to you, Roddy. Man, I know he's almost 30. He needs some guidance, man. He needs to talk to somebody else that's super famous. Like
he needs to go to Houston. This guy has a ranch down there. His name is James Prince. He needs to sit down and talk to him for a little bit, and kind of learn how to handle himself, or even sit down with Master P,
or get some protection from Jay Prince because apparently he
protect. You can get your protection everywhere. We should leave that one alone. Look. I don't want to get a call. Let's move on.
Next, in other news. So we here are unfortunate. We're all Charlotteans, and so we have our fingers on the pulse of the city a lot. And we talked last week about Concord Mills
again,
another shooting. Now this time it wasn't at the mall. It was at the Bexley Square Apartments, which is kind of across. So is it fair that something that didn't happen at Concord Mills is tied to Concord Mills now? Because
absolutely,
because the same thing kind of happened with Eastland.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff would happen like on Central Avenue,
right in front of it.
And it'd be like,
somebody
got messed up at Eastland Mall, and it's like, well, not really, but it's almost like the media just immediately Concord Mills shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, Okay, so we know the media is gonna do whatever they can to get clicks and likes and spins or whatever. However, it's all coming in the same area, man. Like, and that's not a coincidence. That's obviously not a coincidence that this area has an uptick in murders, not just crime, but
it's overdeveloped. Like, it's too much going on up there. Like, I gotta put me in the mind frame of Robert. I mean, it's easy targets up there.
Easy targets.
It's nothing but easy targets, sitting ducks.
You got restaurants and
You going shopping,
tourist attractions.
If you're up that way, you have a little bit of money, and then like you gonna run in your car. Like you can't get nowhere quick.
Here's my concern.
Not a lot of police presence.
Nope.
Well,
which is now. So what's gonna happen is once race season starts.
It's over.
The weather gets nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of people who carry guns come into that area.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Big guns.
Yeah. And
I love them.
They're going to be chomping at the bit. It's people right now reading these articles like, I wish.
I can't wait to
I wish somebody run up on me.
I wish it
would. Yeah. I wish you ran up. So that is my concern, that we're going to see more violence against.
To be honest with you, I don't blame them.
No, I don't either.
If I am armed and you try to take something from me,
yep,
you gonna catch one.
It's either you're gonna drop it and walk away, or you're gonna have to use my gun.
I remember a few years ago there was an incident that happened in Concord Mills, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna have to go up this strap. I said I got to go to Concord Mills. Now you really
have to go strap.
You really got to go up to Concord Mills packing. So that is my concern. I hope something could be done without there being like this totalitarian, almost martial law kind of thing. We're going to see increased police presence.
Yeah.
And I hope this doesn't disproportionately affect young black males in that area. Right. We know it will. I just, I hope it gets tempered down and this goes away and we can move on.
And that was my answer, man. Just let the authorities.
Quick question. You think everybody's going to hate Concord Mills like they hate Northlake?
No.
Northlake is slowly shedding that reputation. I really slowly, but it took a while. Concord Mills, though, it doesn't have the rather it has more prestige than Northlake. Northlake's just like a regular quote unquote mall.
Yeah, the Concord Mills again.
Concord Mills is a tourist attraction.
Yeah, right.
I think the mall or the commerce in that area will bounce back from this in a lot faster fashion than Northlake.
Plus, one thing we didn't mention, which I'm all for it, this needs to be done, man. Concord Mills has not implemented their curfew yet, and that needs to be, because you got to think about it. After Northlake did it, you didn't hear as much.
You still got,
but you didn't hear as much about it as you did, after they implemented. So Concord Mills needs to follow suit, man. Quickly.
Also, in better news, they've actually arrested suspects in the daylight robberies that happened the prior week, thanks to tips from the public. So that's always a good thing to hear. I hope they got the right ones, and I hope
if you're not a part of their life, there is no such thing as snitching.
Right. That's right. Yep. So
say it again for the people in the back.
If you're not a part of their life, there's no such thing as snitching.
No such thing as snitching. Always.
But
do
I
right.
wouldn't want
to. So
I
got a story for y'all. I was coming down Wilkinson Boulevard. This was some years ago.
Was this the real Wilkinson?
This was the real. This was right where the Quick Trip is. Right. So I was going down Wilkinson and I saw two people in the cars in front of me. One directly in front of me, one in the lane on the right. Mm-hmm. They were arguing through the window. And we got to the stoplight. Somebody in the passenger side of the car in front of me pointed a gun out the window at the other car, and the other car just took off through the red light. You know what I did? I called 911. And I told my kids, this is how you keep your community safe. Mm-hmm. You should not have to drive around in Charlotte in fear somebody pointing a gun at you out of the window. That ain't even the first time I'd seen that happen. I was going down South Tryon one day, and this, to be fair, it was late. It was like 3:30 in the morning. Coming back from the club. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw some people. We get to South Tryon and like Graham, like right before you cross into the North Charlotte boundary.
Yeah.
And people arguing. They get to the light. I saw a guy get out of the car in front of me, go to the trunk, grab a shotgun.
Wow.
Oh.
Other car takes off. The car in front of me, they take off after. So I called 911. This is ridiculous. This is how you keep your community safe. You have to. I know that there's a intense
code.
Yeah, there's a code. There's a distrust of police and law enforcement, and I get that. I fully understand that. But at the same time, what are the choices do we have? You're gonna let these people run your city. You're gonna let criminals run your city? Of course not. So unless you're gonna be Batman and dress up and stop crime,
unless you got a cape you're gonna put on and do it yourself,
you've got to do. And we talked about this in a previous episode. You guys be community leaders if your community has none. You got to do something. Do something. Don't just stand by and watch.
Do something instead of complain. Like
I can't stand the complaining.
God, man. Look. You can complain. I don't mind complaining, but do something behind it. Like, don't just complain and not do anything.
Now, that don't mean call the police because under construction crews throwing a party at Freedom Park, running all the kids into the Lakers. You know,
and the barbecue smoke's getting in your backyard.
That is not why you call the police. Okay, you call the police when crimes are committed or you want to prevent a crime.
And just because I'm in your neighborhood, it does not mean the crime has happened. Or it's about to happen.
So
let's be clear about that.
Yeah, so let's be very, very clear about that. All right, let's go to shout outs. I'm gonna go Rodney first and see. Just came back from New Orleans, watching the college championship.
All right, you heard me, Woody? I'm going to talk about. I got a shot at.
Oh yeah,
get him.
TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Oh my God, this guy. Okay,
yes. So
please.
A few days back, they were talking about the prospect of bringing Joe Brady here.
Yeah.
Not just Joe Brady.
What show is? What show is?
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself. That's it.
Say no more.
And he said that he made a comment that they don't really have skill players. What's DJ McCaffrey done? Nothing.
DJ Moore.
No, DJ Moore done nothing. And I'm like, oh, dude had 1,100 yards last year receiving. He was top 5 in the league.
Quick fact.
What's up?
DJ Moore's season is more productive than any season TJ Houshmandzadeh has ever had.
Ever.
And he did it with a backup quarterback. But continue, sir. And so I'm like, okay. And this is my issue. Other black males have voices too. Just because you play sports
does not mean you know everything about the sport.
Look at Kendrick Perkins.
Hey, I was on KD's side for that. Dude, you ain't do nothing.
To be talking down on KD like
Be
that.
quiet.
Be quiet. And it's just like to the masses, our voices are not valuable not unless we play the game. And,
totally agree, man.
And then a lot of times, I want to be political and say I want to be smart in saying this. A lot of times to get on as a black man, you have to downgrade your people to get that attention. Yeah. And so we promise you that we will not do that, and we will continue speaking for our voices.
Right. This is our platform. It doesn't belong. Even one day when ESPN or Fox Sports picks us up, we're not going to compromise that. A guy like TJ Houshmandzadeh, and I see this a lot with athletes that become talking heads, is their allegiances change.
Yep.
You know, they had been loyal and allegiant to the league and their teams and their players for so long. Now they feel like they have to be allegiant to the company that they work for. It's like, you know, journalism and players have always had this lukewarm relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like players go, well, I'm a journalist now, so now I got to back these guys.
Yeah. And it also, I want athletes, no matter race or whatever, support independent media.
You're right.
Yes.
Independent media where you can kind of cultivate those relationships and look out for one another, especially younger players. Like, you don't have to go on the big stations and stuff like that, because a lot of times they run the narrative they want you to say. Like,
they're trying to get something out of you.
Something out of you that doesn't need to be said, or it's nothing there. They just want to create smoke where there's no fire. Give everybody a shot. Come to us. Come to Vashti.
Right.
Come to the 4-Man Rush.
Right. Carolina Blitz.
Everybody.
Sheena Quick. There's a lot of us out there. Give us a shot. Totally agree.
And shout out to New Orleans. You are a ratchet fun city, and I love it. You remind me of Charleston before the gentrification that happened. And man, I gotta go back to New Orleans. It's fun. The food is great.
It is a great city, actually.
I've never been to New Orleans.
You need to go.
Too bad about that football team.
Damn shame. What happened?
We didn't do an construction road trip to the Superdome.
I'm with it.
Sure.
All right. Shout out to the players of the WNBA who have had a salary increase. I'm very, very happy to hear the news. I've always stated that if you market something correctly, the fans will come. I still think the WNBA has a long way to go as far as marketing their sport, making it way more visible than what it is, and making the WNBA a viable league. But with all that being said, it is a small step in the right direction. Paying these players, I guess, a competitive salary, for lack of a better term. So shout out to the ladies of the WNBA. Congratulations on the pay increase. Shout out
real quick. I think the biggest thing about that deal was not really the pay increase.
The benefits.
Paid maternity leave. How could the WNBA not have had paid maternity leave? That's ridiculous.
I remember when Cheryl Suits was pregnant. I'm like, and now I'm thinking back at it, like, was she not paid?
Kyrie Irving can sit on his ass for no reason and get paid. Yeah. And then, but Cheryl Swoops can't get paid. Man. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
Shout out obviously goes to Luke Kuechly, man. I'm still sad.
I'm happy for him, man.
I'm happy for him. I'm not happy for us. You can be both.
I'm happy for us too.
How?
It's a chance to. It's a chance to start fresh in a way.
No,
and we didn't have to push him out or anything like that. Yeah, he did it on his own.
I'm just sad because I'm never gonna get to see
him play again.
Him do what he did out there. That's what that's what's truly different about generational talent in sports. Players who can be replicated, like when Karl Malone retired, nobody really cared except Utah Jazz fans because a lot of guys could do what Karl Malone. But like when someone like Steph Curry retires, no one is
LeBron.
Even LeBron, yeah. So
and I'm not even a LeBron.
So
fan.
I used to actually. I know a lot of people don't like watching their team play defense in the NFL. I used to love it when the Pants on defense because I wanted to see what Luke was how he was gonna manipulate the offense.
I'm gonna tell y'all what, man. Y'all all remember these series of plays. I was watching Luke Kuechly's top 10 interceptions or something like that, whatever it was. And I'm getting emotional, man. I'm getting emotional. Just let me let me try to get this out.
All right.
Go. Do you remember when we were playing the Cowboys?
Yes. Thanksgiving, man.
Tony Romo calls an audible. Luke Kuechly drops back in coverage. Covers one guy.
Yeah.
Comes off that guy and picks off the ball not once but twice. You just can't find that everywhere.
One of those was a pick six in which he stiff-armed Tony Romo in the face.
That is literally
he didn't even have to. He just did it just because.
That is literally one of my favorite sports moments in history, man.
Yes.
So
I hate we couldn't get him a chip, man. God.
Man, well, safe travels, man. Good luck to Luke.
Yes.
We're gonna
Congratulations on your retirement. Hopefully we'll see you back in some capacity with the Panthers sometime in the future.
I'm gonna miss you.
It's too much.
It's too much, man.
I need a swig of
guys, what you got, man?
All right, my shout out is for Carolina Hurricanes defenseman Dougie Hamilton.
Hey,
he broke his left leg in a game against Columbus last week. That's tough because he's out the rest of the season. He's probably the Canes' best player this year. All-star defenseman, offensive weapon, and now the Canes, which look like a real championship contender threat, are in free fall. I'm not gonna say free fall, but we just don't know how this is gonna play out. You
back
can't
in mediocrity.
Yeah, you can't lose your best player and then and be what you were. So shout out to him. I hope he heals up. He's had surgery. Hockey is a tough sport, man. Think of the brutality of the NFL, but 82 games a year with the length of the NBA. It's just a tough sport.
So, hey, real quick, man. my Twitter handle is God Still Hates Charlotte. By this time next week, I want to change my Twitter handle. Hornets, please win a damn game.
Win a game.
Just win tomorrow, please.
Win.
So, look, no, no. I mean, no offense by this. I don't want to see that damn red up there next week, man. I don't.
Yes, I'd love to change. I'd love to change it, but if the Hornets don't do something, then
it's gonna stay up
the
there.
Canes will reign supreme in the LED backdrop. So, all right, so that's gonna do it for us on Under Construction this week. We hope you guys are able to get over the loss of Luke Kuechly. Time heals all wounds, right? Man,
it's gonna take at least a season, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Whoever plays middle linebacker after that, man, he's gonna be the most criticized player.
Isaiah Simmons, good luck.
Hey, real quick before we go, best Panthers player in history. Go.
Steve Smith.
Luke Kuechly.
Oh, Steve Smith, but barely, man.
No,
Smith, Smitty, then Luke.
No, y'all really just like the passion. If you look at the numbers and the accomplishments and the accolades, it is Luke Kuechly.
If you look at the numbers,
Hey, look.
Actually, based on that logic,
it's Julius Peppers.
It's Luke, Julius, then Smith.
No, it's just
Y'all gonna crucify me for saying it.
We should save this for next week.
Yeah, we definitely gonna revisit this topic next week.
I'm gonna have notes.
We're on a war
I'm
over
gonna have
this.
notes.
Y'all see, it's a shrine to Steve Smith right behind the camera. Y'all can't even see it over there. I'm gonna defend.
Y'all like that Mighty Mouse, don't y'all?
I mean, he was.
Look, Rodney, he is short, angry, and light skinned. I can identify. I love that man.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yes.
Y'all have a good week. Please take care of each other. We love y'all. Have a good one.
We get to see